House. It is Wednesday, October 18th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today was born and raised in Sweden, and I'm super excited to have her here. She is an award winning director, film director, and actress. And I'm super excited to have her here in the dollhouse. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, all the way from Sweden, Fashion Dolls, Elin Margareta Nordin. Hopefully, shallots. Hello.
Hi,
Hello, beautiful. How are you? Welcome to the dollhouse.
thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm really good. Yeah.
It is such a pleasure to have you here. And Mickey Solar, the owner of Original Magazine UK, set this interview up, and she is here in the comments as well too. That's our boss lady. I call her boss lady because I interviewed her on the show as well too. So
Yeah.
before we get into our girl chat, shall I say, our conversation, how has 2023 been for you so far? I know you're in Sweden,
hmm
and I'm down here in the United States. So how has things been for you so far?
Um, it's been a roller coaster. I think it's been a roller coaster for everybody. But for me personally, I think it's been an adjustment, going from constantly like being able to be on sets and then when everything happened, it was just like, oh no, you can be on set, but you have to be careful. And so, but yeah.
A lot of precautions, and things have slowly but surely opened up. Well, they're officially open back down here in the United States. And I know if you're in the New York area or the New York region,
hmm
Broadway was a big thing, and they had to close down and shut down due to the pandemic.
hmm
It's affected a lot of us. And the year is now halfway out. So, how does it feel knowing that you survived 2023 and we are now about to head into a whole new year?
you know what? Next year it will be better. It's, e- I guess it like this, even if we didn't really close down here in Sweden, well, actually we didn't, we just had, like, uh, you had to be separated, and not sit too close to each other. It was still like, especially for the film industry, our entire industry just like it was gone. And but now when the new year is coming and this year is closing down, it will be so much better for everybody.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. What are you looking forward to and manifesting for the year of 2024?
Um, oh, there's so much. I have a horror script that is finishing up, or it is finished, that I'm writing together with this amazing writer named Paul Bagnall. And I'm a producer of a movie with Mark Denham. And I have so much projects that are coming, so, and it's going to be a new year. So that means new beginnings, new exciting adventures that's going to happen.
Yes. And also a new awakening, because it's just like when the pandemic lifted
hmm
and things started to open back up, it's just like we can take a deep breath now. The world is open. We don't have to worry about, well, we still are taking precautions, but
hmm
it's just like everything is so restricted. Even on set, a lot of shows shut down due
hmm
to the pandemic. And as I've mentioned earlier, Broadway. So I mean, it's affected a lot of us, and even down here now in the U.S. and then the
hmm
United States, you have the writers and actors strike going on. But
Yeah.
for you, what I love about you, Ellen, is that you kept going, girl. You have been out here producing, writing, giving us content after content. You are an award winning director and actress, and you have been doing this since your teen years. Now, one thing I've learned about you also is that's crazy is your birthday is before mine. Yours is October 22nd. You're a Libra. I'm a Scorp.
Yeah.
We're Libra and Scorpio women. So
Hmm.
that's crazy. What is it like? What was it like for you growing up in Sweden? And did you always know that acting and directing would be a passion of yours?
I've always known, ever since I was a kid. It's I've I've always looked at old movies and I wanted to be just like Marilyn Monroe when I grew up.
Mm,
I have her on the wall.
me too. I have two pictures of her here.
I have a pillow and I have candlesticks and like I'm Marilyn Monroe obsessed. It's so I was one of those who fought, to make sure that her house wasn't torn down,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's yeah. Um no, I mean like I've always known um there is no actors among my family. I mean, but it's we're creatives, in my family, and I've been told that like if you want it, you have to work for it, and
Yes.
uh, and it's I also had to be like really honest, or I had to be honest with myself because the acting industry, like even if I love it, it can be so unreliable. It's
Yeah.
like you can go to auditions for 6 months, not get anything, and then you can get one project, and then you do it for a couple of months or a couple of days, and then you're not getting anything. Then it's the same routine, or you're signed to something and it can just like, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't decide to do it. So,
And
but I love it.
it-
That's part
yes,
of the journey.
and I love what you just said because that is true in this in the bit in the entertainment business. This is sort of like here today, going tomorrow. There's a lot of people
Hmm.
that are going for the specific role that you're going for, or the lead
Hmm.
or next to lead character, and that line can be wrapped all the way around the corner. And so many people will get their hopes up thinking, "I got to get this. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it," and they're turned back around, and sometimes they have to go and re-audition for the role again because they didn't get the part and that audition. So it's sort of like a catch 22. You don't know what the casting call directors are going to be looking for, if what they're looking for. And if you go back and audition a second time, they'll give you that yes. So there's always that reassurance. And you went on to write a number of projects. One of my favorites is The Couple. So you've written a couple of films. The Couple is one of my favorites. And
Hmm.
out of all of your projects, you've done sibling rivalry, you've
Yeah.
done insane, loneliness, murders, and the couple, which
Hmm.
is my favorite. So out of all of your projects, which one resonates to you the most?
I gotta say it's Mabel because that was the first movie. It was a dream project. I wanted to make it, and I had the script for years, and I was living in London, and outside my apartment building, we have this forest, or like it was like a park, but it looked like it was a forest, and I lived with actors, and filmmakers, who I work with, like uh, the only two people I didn't live with was Miggy and Miguel and Victor, the one who played the police officer and the one who played my father in the movie. But we went out and we were like, we can film in this forest. And it was so exciting of making that movie because I wanted to honor stars that are no longer with us. And I had the script for years and I finally decided, I'm going to do it. And when I did it and it was finished and I sent it off to film festivals and I found out it won. And I was so excited because that's the first movie that I ever won an award with. And I still get emotional thinking about it. So that,
Oh, girl, I know that's a big accomplishment. Like for and you're the good part about it is you're a woman, and we know how the industry does us as women
Hmm.
that are filmmakers, that are writers. Whenever we're vocal or we're going, what I love about you, Ellen, again, is that passion that you have, and you never let anything stop you. You kept going. And I'm the
Hmm.
same way. I think it's a Libra Scorpio thing, and I think my energy is rubbing off on yours, girl. But we Libras and Scorpios, we
Hmm.
go for it. We don't care. And my mom is a Libra, October 7th. So
Hmm.
that passion, whether whatever it is, she even instilled that to me as well too. Whatever it is that you want to go for, because I have brothers and sisters. One
Hmm.
thing about it, my parents let us each choose our own career path, and I'm pretty sure your parents did the same for you as well too. They said, okay, she wants to be an actress, she wants to be a director. You went
Yeah.
for it, and it's that passion that keeps you going.
Hmm.
So who motivates Ellen to keep going? Because I'm pretty sure your parents have been an impact into you as well too.
Well, of course, my parents, but I have two older sisters, and you know, they motivate me because I see how hard they work for their careers. And I I think the biggest motivation is the thinking back of me as a teenager and who I was and what I wanted, because I still remember uh, I went to this very good high school, a media school in a bit outside of Stockholm. And I remember you had to audition to get in, and it was really difficult to get in. And my teacher there, or the guy who was my like who sat there and did the audition, he asked me. So now remember, I'm like I think like I'm 14, 15 years old when I like did the audition, and he says, "Oh, what do you think you're gonna be in 10 years?" I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna win an Academy Award." And we started laughing, not because of like it was a ridiculous, like moment, but because I was so sure and so passionate about it. And that girl who sat in that audition room for that school, that's my drive, because I worked so hard from that audition room to where I am now. And I'm not going to let her down. I'm not going to let me down.
I know that's right. And that is the mentality. Again, it goes back to that passion. And you said your sisters have been an influence as well to my. I have a sister. I have two sisters also. One of my sisters passed in August 2018. And she's always encouraged me to go after my dreams and just stay positive and surround myself with the right. And some of those right people are here in the audience watching, like K Tukes and Nate, who I've known them both for a very long time. And then these two men have been pivotal in my life because they've always inspired me to go after my dreams. Nate just did Fashion Week in New York, walked and created for Fashion Week in New York. And I had to encourage him. Like I said, you got this. He said, I'm a little nervous. I said, you got this. And he did outstanding. And so does K Troops. Like we just got through texting a few minutes ago. And they always keep me uplifted. If not these two, then Island Yankee, Kenny, Tony, Jay Evans, Bubs, who's joining me Friday, Bubs the God, who's joining me. So they always encourage and making sure that I'm okay. You know, it's always good to keep these type of people in your corner.
Hmm.
Now, another thing I want to talk with you about is that you have your podcast, The Untitled Show by
Yeah.
Ellen.
Yeah.
So it will be released on October 29th. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Yes. So the new episode for my podcast will be released on October 29th. Um, and that is also something that started because if you go back on my Instagram, you'll see I did a bunch of videos where I talked about everything from unsolved murders to solved murders to ghosts. And I sat there like recording and I was like, I like to talk about my passion and I like to talk about stuff that interests me.
Yeah.
History interests me, hauntings, ghosts, the crimes. I am one of those people who sit and watch a crime show and I get very excited, watch horror movies. And I decided, I'm going to do my my podcast, and it's been, going for a couple of years, and I love it. It's fun, uh, and yeah, it's fun. It's it's tough, but it's exciting. So
You got this, girl. And I've been doing Style by Stevie since 2014. If I can do it, because I had to kind of
mhm,
slowly but surely, I'm like, okay, you're talking to the world, you're
mhm,
interviewing people. I've gotten so used to it where it's just like, okay, you're slowly blossoming out of your cocoon and you're
mhm.
becoming this big, beautiful butterfly. And it's such a great feeling. You got this, girl.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for you all the way. And you were our cover girl for Original Magazine UK. Mick put you on the cover of the magazine.
Yeah.
That's, oh my God, she looks stunning. She looks like a Barbie doll. She's so pretty. So, how did that feel being on the cover of Original Magazine UK?
Oh, when Mickey told me, I was like, I thought it was like a prank. Um, I didn't tell her that I thought it was a prank, but I was thinking like, okay, the joke is coming soon. But when it was there, it actually became real, and it was just, and when the photo, like, that is, yeah, it was just, it's still so unreal because I watch it and I look at it, I was like, that's me on the cover. And that photo was taken in the forest, in the village where I actually grew up. And the photographer, Madeline, like, uh, I had I had asked a group of people, can you take, do you know a good photographer? And she spoke up and she said, oh, I can do pictures. I can take photos. And we decided to spend, a couple of hours out in the forest and take pictures. And that was I think it was one of the last pictures or that we took. And I just turned around and she took a photo, and that became the cover, you know. And it's really beautiful, and I love it. And it's still so unreal to be on the cover.
And, and reading each and every one of our articles, and then your story, you're the cover girl. What did your
Mhm.
parents say? What did your sisters say? Did they see the cover?
I I haven't asked my sisters yet, but I will. But my parents are very happy and proud. Um, it's I got a hug, like, so yeah, it's and they're very proud, like it's, and they have the magazine, like upstairs in their living room, just like showing, like, here's our daughter. Um, so, but I haven't asked my sisters yet, but I I think I know what they will say and that they are proud. But I've seen like likes of, that of the picture and, like of the cover. So I know that they are proud, but I haven't actually been like, so what do you think? Like actually get the words, you know, but I know that they're proud.
And Madeline is here. She says the cover is magical.
I mean, she's a fantastic photographer. She's so fun to work with. It's she just like, oh, okay, and then you smile. I'll be like, so it's she's fun to work with. So I recommend to work with Madeline.
And my brother K2 says, I'm loving Ellen's passion and drive. And Original Magazine UK Mix, she says, the best ever, the best cover ever of the magazine. And she says, because Ellen and Madeline made a wonderful work. It's like a dream come true. And then what I love about the cover is that it's in black and white. You
Mhm.
look like one of the Silkstone, because I've gotten into collecting Barbies. If you guys follow my story, you look like one of the classic Silkstone Barbies on the cover, Ellen. You look gorgeous.
Thank
Like
you.
the facial structure, everything. And then Madeline captured it in black and white because a lot of magazines nowadays, like down here in the USA, Cosmopolitan,
Hmm.
Vogue, everything is in color. But I
Yeah.
like to look at classic covers as well too. Like you've mentioned Marilyn Monroe,
Hmm.
and if you go back in time and look at some of her photos, the photos that I've looked at of her, because my mom got me a book with Marilyn Monroe, and I have two photos of her here in my little glam room. Uh, it's black and
Yeah.
white, and black and white still captures that beauty. It's timeless.
Yeah.
So something you can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the old style pictures. I love the old Hollywood, the glamour, just to see like pictures, like from movie stars or singers. It's back in the day, and I'd be like, those photos still works today because it is them. It's not photoshopped. It's not, like it's just um yeah, so it's just amazingly done. And it's when you work with a photographer, especially like Madeline, there are great photographers that I worked with, you know, I think everybody has their own style, and like you say, both me and Madeline have found, our way to work, and that is amazing. And I'm obsessed with the old style. So when she and I work together, we're like, okay, so that works, and that looks like, like New York, or that looks like that. And it's, you know, now it's the first time I get to hear I look like a Barbie doll.
You do look like one of the Silkstone Barbies. If you go back in time and you look at it, she looks just like one. And Madeline says Ellen is so beautiful in an older style, a classic beauty. And if you flip through, like, okay, Vogue in the 1950s, or you go back in time and you look at other fashion magazines, they captured everything in color. And then
Mhm,
there was some times when we said, you know what? Let me go ahead and do black and white. There are so many photographers out here, like Jill Ben Simone is one of my
mhm,
favorites. Now he
mhm,
shot for Vogue. There's so many, but Madeline captured the essence of your beauty, and I've seen some of Madeline's photography, and she knows how to capture the light of a person's beauty and innocence, and she did that perfect with this cover. So when I seen the cover,
yeah,
because I always go straight to my article, I said, let me look and see who's on the cover, and you were on the cover. You were the cover girl. So great, beautiful article, outstanding photography. Everything looks divine. So great job, Madeline.
yeah. She's absolutely fantastic to work with. So I highly recommend to work with her. It's uh, it's just she's very easy to work with, and it's. I mean, I maybe it's because like I've known her before we started working together, but like as a photographer and a model, but it's she's very like, oh well, and just very easygoing, and then just count down to like one, two, three, and take click, and then she just takes it, and it's now we're working with water and reflections, so and that's so much fun to do.
And it's beautiful. It's like photographers know how to make
Mhm,
your fairy tale come to life, and they
mhm,
capture that in that moment still. Like my brother and his girlfriend did a maternity shoot, and it's absolutely beautiful, was colorful, and to be able to go back and see some of the photos in black and white is just beautiful. Like it's something about classic B and W, and I love that IG has that filter where you can play around within your stories if you want to add color and go 3D and all sorts of things. But that black and white is always classic, and
yeah.
to see it in that moment, in that time, makes you go back to a time where it's just like, wow, I wish I was in this era because the photography is just so beautiful. So
Yeah, I found photos of, like older stars, back in the days, and it's just looking at those photos, and I'd be like, it is true magic. Um, Looking at them, and then it's true what you say. Black and white photos is it it says so much more than a color. But even if I love photos that shows color, it's still I'm more drawn to, like the black and white photos. I love them so much.
It's eye catching, like it's
Hmm.
timeless.
Yeah.
You've mentioned Marilyn. I'm a big Audrey Hepburn fan, and I've went and I looked at some of her. Oh yes, yes, and yes. Mick used her for one of the photos for the article that I did, and
Hmm.
I said, "Oh my God," because she sent me a link to check out photos, and I seen Audrey. And Breakfast at Tiffany's is one of my favorite movies. So Funny
Yeah.
Face, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and of course My Fair Lady. So those are three of my favorite movies from her. The perfections of the photos is because I don't follow any rules. I just tell photos and enjoying it. And you make it come to life. Again,
Hmm.
photographers know what we, the viewers, the consumers, or the person that's being photographed, they go
Hmm.
for it. And they capture your beauty. They say, no, 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 no. That lighting is bad on you. And they'll tell you right then and there in that moment, you need to be over here in this lighting,
Hmm.
or look up and maybe the light will come down on you and look like you're going to heaven. Like all sorts of things to make the photo just come to life. And that's not
Yeah.
the case with Madeline because Madeline is just her vision. And I've scrolled through her Instagram and I've seen some of her work. And then I seen when she shot the cover for you, and it just came together so beautifully. They know how to put imagery together and tell a story that'll make people like, what is it about this photo that's so captivating? What is it about this photo? Or what kind of secret does she know that the world doesn't know? The people, when they pick up the magazine, they're like curious because sometimes even for Cosmopolitan, when I would look through Cosmopolitans, because that's how I kind of got into fashion, I'd be like, what is the woman on the cover thinking? She does these very sexy, mysterious poses, but what is she thinking? Like, you want to know what the person is thinking or want to know more about their story. And with this cover, it drew people in to want to know more about you, Ellen. So that's what's fascinating about
Yeah. I loved taking that picture. I love taking the entire photo collage and every photos that we taken afterwards. It's been a roller coaster of emotions and fun. And I, it's it yeah it's been so exciting to take those photos and to take more photos, and there are more photos coming, and it's I mean, it's fun. We laugh, you know, when we do those pictures, take those pictures, and that is what you should do. Even when you're on a film set, you should have fun. You should work with people. When I know that when I work with Madeline, she's my photographer and I'm her model. When I work with Mark, even if I call him my brother, uh, I he is my colleague on set, and I'm his colleague. So I think it's so important when you do photos or when you film to have fun, but also be very professional, and that is what we have. And I think the secret, my secret, I'm not sure if Madeline ever wants to share her secret, but my secret is I have a vision in my head of how the photos are going to be, and they never turn out that way. So it's not really a secret. It,
it.
it's
And
yeah.
yeah, and photographers, what they do is they try to get you to go out of your comfort
Hmm.
zone. and that's what I love too. That, you know,
Mhm.
whether it's changing your look or aesthetic to fit the photo for the models out there, they'll say, maybe we want you to have blonde hair, or maybe we want you to have this type of lip color,
Mhm.
or this type of lip color, or maybe you should try this. This is very Marilyn-esque, or very Audrey Hepburn-esque. I know another one of my favorite actresses from that time is, I love Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor is so glamorous. I admire this woman because watching her in so many of her films in that time, Princess Grace, Grace Kelly is another one of my favorites
Mhm.
too. So I'm like, these women are so classy, they're so gorgeous, they're so glamorous. And I
Yeah.
try to embody that in some of my photos with just their poses. I would go back in time and just look at
Mhm.
their fashion, at their films, and just be breathtaking at everything. Like, wow, that gal is
Yeah.
so gorgeous.
I'm, I mean, looking at um, any movies with Elizabeth Taylor or, Grace Kelly or Audrey Hepburn or Marilyn Monroe it's not just the move and the clothes, and it's also the way they speak and the way that they move their hands, and it's also the smile. It is they work everything so well, and they were all talented actors, actresses, and it is just, I don't know, I, it just I'd rather spend an entire day watching old movies than watching today's movies. I think I've seen like maybe two Marvel movies. I mean, they're all fantastic actors, but it's like I prefer older movies. Even if action hero movies are fun to watch sometimes.
The older ones are so classic though. At that time, during that time, 60 cinema and 50
Yeah.
cinema and 40 cinema, being able to roll that tape back, we see it all the time. And my mom has put me completely on Turner Classic Movie Network. And I would get to see Dick Van Dyke and Dorothy Dandridge, Carmen
Mhm.
Jones, and all of these classic films growing up. And I was just enamored by it. And I said, this period was so beautiful.
Mhm.
The women were so beautiful, just so elegant. And watching them, the choreography of everything, of how they put the scenes together, is just fascinating. Madeline says, I just go with the flow, no rules, just have fun. Don't have any plans, just take photos and have a wonderful day. And that's what a photo shoot should be like. You know, it shouldn't be all the drama. Well, bring the drama, yes, the hair and makeup. I like that type of drama. I like to change up my look for a shoot,
Mhm.
but it should be fun. You bringing your beauty to light, and photographers know how to capture that. It's a
Yeah.
famous video for person who he shoots a lot of videos for some of the stars. And I think he did Janet Jackson, Matthew Ralston, that's his name. Matthew Ralston knows how to capture the essence of any woman. And it's just like, okay, she can be smiling, she could be driving in a car, she could be going to the beach. He knew how to capture that. And back in the day, and then if you fast forward to like the early 90s, it was something called like a little ring, like this little donut, and you would
Mhm.
sit in this donut and you wouldn't move. It would just be like your face. How my face is today, it would be just showing the glamour, the beauty aspect. Madeline
Mhm.
can do that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
almost similar to Matthew Ross. And I said it's very candid. So very beautiful.
Yeah. It is. I I mean, sometimes like I can't even say certain words, and I know that people are gonna be like, "Oh, Elin can't speak." That's a new thing. But it's to capture something like on a camera, like whether it is filming or it's taking a photo and catching that moment and then seeing the result is just absolutely amazing. And I remember this was several years ago, but there was this old movie that was I don't remember which movie it was, but I think it was like in from the 50s or 60s. And this scene, this extremely beautiful scene that was shot like inside of a park, and the camera just stood still, and you could see a person just coming walking and getting closer and closer and closer to the camera. And even if like, and there was no break, and it just kept on going. And that was just so amazing because it took in everything around it, the trees, uh, the little stones, the park, everything. It was just, it took everything in. And when you take that, it tells a story. That scene told an amazing, amazing story, even if it was just for a couple of minutes. And then the movie just carried on from that scene. But when you have that way of letting the scene do work and get to be an actor like and a star in the movie, it works so well. Like you don't need to have all the shots being fast all the time. Sometimes you can take your time with this with your scenes. Add that few seconds, let it carry on, wait a little bit before speaking as an actress. It works so well. Look at the scene in the movie Psycho when Janet uh, Leigh is sitting in the car and she's thinking. You could see if you mute the entire movie, if you mute that scene, you she tells a story with just her face, with her movements and everything, and you know exactly what she thinks, even if you've seen the movie hundreds of times and you know what they say. You know, her face just says everything, and plus everything that goes around and happens in the background. That works. Like, so when you have a good camera, a good photographer, good actors, it works, and a good setting, and you have fun on set. It works.
And again, it's that story. You're bringing
Hmm.
that story to so the viewers out there can have that foreshadowing into what's going to happen in this scene, or we already know what's going to happen and get an idea of it just from that suspense. That again, that mystery is what brings people in. It's what's so alluring and captivating to them to be like, okay, I got to see what's going to happen. I want to watch it. And then sometimes the producer or whoever, the director that's for doing the project, they'll be like, okay, no, we're going to be continued and it'll continue next week and so forth and so on. And it's like, oh, it'll have people talking. But when they see it, they're just like,
Hmm.
I knew it. I knew it. It's came to fruition. It's happened full circle. Here it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, speaking of suspense, you said in the beginning of the interview that you are writing a horror film. So tell
yeah.
us a little bit about that. I know you can't give away the dates, but describe it in one word.
Uh, well, I can't describe it in one word. Uh, it is, well, actually, I can. Huge. It's but I can tell a bit about it. It's a horror series that I'm working on together with writer Paul Bagnall, and I can say it like this: it's huge. It will be amazing, um, and it is amazing. So yeah, I'm super excited for that.
All right. So we got to
Mhm.
stay tuned. All
Yeah.
right. Question break. Fashion dolls. Do we have any questions for myself or Ellen before we conclude? Because I had such a great time being able to go back and capture the essence of black and white. I had to talk about your cover because your cover is so beautiful. And Mickey is here. She enjoyed the interview as well too. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mick, and you guys. Um, before while you guys are typing in the comments, if you have any questions for myself or Ellen, I'm going to leave you guys with the final thought of the day, which comes from Drew Barrymore. And Drew says this. She says, life is very interesting in the end. Some of your greatest pains become your greatest strengths. And that goes back to what Ellen just said in the beginning of the interview, which is that determination, that passion, not giving up on your dreams. Keep
Hmm.
going forth for whatever it is that you want to do. And I know that fashion and hosting a talk show was always something that I wanted to do ever since I was a baby. In diapers before I could even walk.
And now you
Reading and
and now you're
reading,
doing it.
and now it's coming to fruition. It's so crazy, full circle 2020 that this has happened. And I like to do vision boards too. So it's like everything, putting the pieces of the puzzle in your life together and watching it all come full circle. And I must say it's been a blessing for me. I'm thankful for all of the success of this platform and all of the love that you guys give just from tuning in weekdays to see the guests, to see the conversation, engage in the conversation. That makes my heart smile a lot. Knowing that I have an impact on the world and people are just watching right from their homes. They pull up their tablet or watch on their phone or wherever and they engage in the conversation. So that's the greatest gift to me, knowing that you guys enjoy the interviews, knowing that you guys enjoy the conversation, knowing that you guys are engaged and in tune and focused. And that's the passion that we need to stay focused on. So we need to stay focused on our dreams and our endeavors. So thank you, Mick. She's still here. She says, Madeline says, thank you both for the lovely words. I'm so excited and proud of Ellen to follow her journey and to be a part of it. And Nick says, congratulations. It is a great interview. I'm glad you ladies enjoyed it. I had such a great time. Mick, you the bomb girl. I had to say it. You are everything, girl. This was a great interview. Sam was supposed to join me yesterday, but she said she's waiting on something very, very special. I can't give it away, so on the secrecy. So she's gonna be coming on the show pretty soon, and Nick is gonna set that up. So, Ellen, my last question for you before we conclude and wrap up is what advice would you give to young women and young girls or anybody out here who are looking to become a film writer or become an actress? What advice or words or gems of wisdom would you instill into them?
Um, don't take responsibility for your actions. Um, be honest with yourself. It's the biggest one to put stop for your career is not other people, it's you yourself. And it is okay to make mistakes. It's okay to say no. It's okay to regret, because everything can, you know, come around, come back to you. It's and continue working really hard. Uh, and this is not just for uh, women and young women who wants to be filmmakers, but this is for everybody,
Everybody.
especially who are in the industry. Don't don't take away the side job until you're 120% sure that you can make it on your own, because like I said before, our industry is extremely unreliable sometimes. It is amazing, it's so fun to be a part of, but it can be so unreliable. It's but for like like women, I mean, we mentioned four incredible women
Oh,
who
we
paved the
did.
way, for us. Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly, it's and there are so many more, and if you want to be a singer, just listen to Ella Fitzgerald or any other singers. Like if there is someone that you are passionate about, that you love so much, then study what they did and not do exactly what they did, but study how they, like worked for it and you work for it. But it has to be your journey. Um, and it has to be, uh, don't ever join something just because other people are doing it. You know, you have to do it for yourself. And as for women, you can be whatever you want to be whenever you want to be it. It's if you're gonna go on stage and win that Academy Award, you will win that Academy Award.
And that's real. That's about
Hmm.
manifesting. And that's
Hmm.
the power of manifestation and how powerful it is. When you
Hmm.
put it out there in the universe, it's going to happen. And I agree what Ellen just said. You know, it's hard for us as women in this business because we face misogyny. We battle so many things that are it's like coming at us left and right. But we keep going. We overcome all of these obstacles and we rise up like phoenixes on top because we have overcome all of everything, all of the challenges that we faced in our life or just in general in the business. We've gotten to where we're at. And that's to anybody, not just women, but to anybody who's looking to become an actress. Like Ellen just said, you study and you go forth. All right.
Yeah, yeah. And also continue going to school, going to acting schools. You will have teachers who they will be brutal with you, but they will be honest and they care, genuinely care about you. So listen to their advice because they care and they themselves are in the industry. So, and I've had some really great teachers, amazing. So,
You have it, fashion dolls, ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Nordin. So, Ellen, let everyone know where they can follow you and check out your projects because, again, one of my favorites is the couple. So, you guys can go and check that out and let everyone know where they can check everything out.
well, uh, many of the movies that I'm in, you can find it on Vimeo on demand. I'm gonna see if they are out in other streaming services. I hope. Um, my podcast, you can find it on Spotify. Otherwise, you can follow me on social media like Instagram. I always say Twitter, but it's now X or TikTok. You can find me on Snapchat, but it's yeah, so it's my work is, like out there. And there's more coming.
Stay tuned. And her podcast, your new episode of your podcast drops October 29th.
Mhm.
So, make sure you guys go and check that out as well, too. Where can everyone check out the podcast?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, fashion dolls, I love you all. Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest, the beautiful, the talented Elin Nordin. This was such an amazing girl talk, and I would love to have you back again. And we're gonna get Mick to set that up. I had a great time.
I would definitely want to come back. I had so much fun, so much fun.
Always, you are always welcome back to the dollhouse, girl. And happy early birthday, because your birthday's on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. Make sure you guys go and check out Ellen's podcast. The new episode drops October 29th. So make sure you guys go and check that out. I love you all. And joining me Friday, we have Bubs the God. So make sure you guys tune in for that. I love you all and take care, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care too.